Steven, what you was thinking when Tank did that when he took the knee? What you was thinking when he took the knee?
I can't speak.
Can't speak on that?
Yes.
He did some bullshit though?
I can't speak.
No personal opinion, nothing?
Yeah.
No, you gotta calm down and listen to me.
Come on. Hey, come on now. We're trying to get it. Come on now.
There was no question in the boxing world that trouble was coming after recordings of the conversation between Gervonta Davis and his team were leaked. As if that wasn't bad enough, audio tapes of Gervonta Davis and the referees quickly went public. This was the last straw that broke the camel's back. In the first place, it was the main reason Lamont Roach was appealing.
Steve said fight out of the clinch. That's what we were gonna do. He came in the back and was like, I'm gonna let you fight out, especially if one arm is loose or whatever the case may be.
Sadly, the new state sports commission chose to play down his efforts and not take the recording seriously. As a result, the boxing world has responded even more strongly to their handling of the recordings.
Simple. So I was like, all right, the ref started counting. When I'm looking at him, I'm like, the ref started counting. But I see him get up and go to the corner.
The New York State Athletic Commission is still looking into referee Steve Willis's mistaken actions during Lamont Roach Jr.'s knockout of Gervonta Davis on Saturday night. On Wednesday, a fascinating Pro Box TV panel discussed the issue. If they do one thing, Lamont Roach wins the fight, said Dan Rafael, a veteran boxing writer who is now distributing his Fight Freaks Unite Substack. Willis's bad night cost Lamont Roach a championship and kept him from putting the first loss on America's Best Fighter. A lot of things went wrong, and it was all against Lamont Roach. At the set on his podcast with the show's host Teddy Atlas, when asked about what happened in round 9.
I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I am, but I'm ashamed of myself. I am so cynical, but this sport has made me cynical. I'm sorry. I don't see anyone's gonna make.
He said that the ref was useless and could have been bought off because he never did that for Roach's bad refs. We need better referees, more informed refs, trained refs, or whatever you want to call them. I'm not going to say honest because I don't know if honesty was the problem. There may be better refs out there, but we need brave ones who know what to do and are sure they're making the right call. I don't think that ref would have let Roach get away with what he let Tank Davis get away with. Why? Tank is great.
It's going to reprimand this referee. What are they going to do? I mean, it happens too often. It's happened too often. I don't know. We need a national commission. That's the only thing I could think of. But
he continued, I think he set a record for the most people ever at Barclays Center. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I believe they hit a new crowd record, maybe a gate record too. They've had shows, fights, and basketball games there. They did big numbers. He's a star. He brings people, has a big fan base, and provides solid pay-per-view numbers. I don't know the numbers for this one, but he's one of those guys who regularly brings in good pay-per-view figures. All of that comes with him
right now. But the last thing I want to say to put a bow on this one, Bud, we talked about the controversial part, but I want to...
When a referee allows him to take a knee, which isn't a rule in boxing, and get away with it not making it a 10-8 round when it should have been, that's a problem. He got hit with a jab just before that. I'm not trying to go after Tank Davis. People already say I defend him too much or hype him up, and he is great. He's a tremendous complete fighter, a puncher inside and outside, patient, defensively responsible with fast hands. He puts punches together, goes to the body, can counter punch, set traps, all of that, but he was wrong here. He got away with it because the sport let him. There's nothing wrong with the fighters, it's the administrators of this sport that have a lot wrong with them. We see it and we shouldn't keep seeing it. It's got to stop.
The great part, that was high-level boxing. That was two guys at the highest level showing their skills.
Teddy Atlas also added, a judge can't let something not in the rule book slide. Tank hits it with a jab, and a second or two later he takes a fall. Guess what? I'm sorry, that's a fall. If your knee goes down around that time, it's a knockdown. This isn't football. There are no fair catches here. You know what I mean. As you pointed out last night, if it were football, it'd be a touchback. Taking a knee in certain cases, there are rules for a reason. Even for Terrence Crawford, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, in the top 3 with him. I know, and USI came out and said, I didn't know that was a rule. I guess I was sleeping when they passed that one. He didn't say this, but maybe he was out doing road work or something. He must have been busy, and that rule, which isn't a rule, came up. I said it earlier, this isn't the Indianapolis 500. You can't go into pit row because your oil needs changing, your tires need swapping, or grease needs wiping from your eye. There's no pit row in fighting. Tank went down on a knee, and Roach, give him credit, or maybe say he should have gone after him because the saying is defend yourself at all times, right? He would have been within his rights to attack.
You miss and you counter, and then all of a sudden you're in front of him. Boop! You're the invisible man. You're on the. That's sweet science too. Yes, and it's easier to see. It grabs your attention. Oh wow! Look at that guy. He's on the outside.
I've seen fighters hit guys who are turning or walking away. The referee doesn't stop it unless the bell rings or he interjects. You have the right to hit that guy that's fighting. Roach had the right. He was a gentleman, a sportsman. I give him credit, but when Tank turned, Roach could have hit him with a left hook or whatever. He's a southpaw, so maybe a straight left. Whatever it was his right to pursue and throw. Maybe he could have caught him and knocked him down while he was turning. It wouldn't have been the nicest thing to see, but he wouldn't have been wrong. Who was wrong? Tank and the referee, who allowed him to take an ego to his corner, get whatever was obstructing his vision wiped away, and then go back to work. If the referee scores that a 108 round, which it technically should have been even, though I know he wasn't hurt, Roach doesn't get a draw. He wins the title. A lot of people with a plus 900 ticket are feeling pretty good right now.
Middle of the furnace. With all the flames and everything going, and you don't get burnt up, you don't get torched, you don't get scorched.
He ended his sentiment by saying he bullied the bully. Really, he did. It's like in the playground. You see the bully having his way all the time, and then one day, guy stands up to him. Suddenly the bully is not acting the same, not as pushy. My cousin had a saying that fits here. When you count a little on intimidation, but then the guy you're trying to intimidate doesn't get intimidated and becomes the intimidator that flips. 8. You're not going to hear that from many people.
Funny, when we was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking shit, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win.
Roach, a former amateur rival of Davis, deserves to be the leading story after handing Tank a minus 1,600 betting favorite, the first blemish of his professional career in their controversial majority draw inside Barclays Center, as did the New York State Athletic Commission, which was less than transparent in the immediate aftermath and claimed Monday a technical issue prevented it from reviewing the instant replay footage during the allotted time by refusing to call the voluntary knee taken by Davis in round 9 exactly what it was, a knockdown. The fallout cost Roach both an 8-point swing that would have swung the decision in his favor and multiple millions of dollars that could have come from Roach starting their inevitable rematch as the defending champion.
Why not? What you talking about? He like, man, ain't gonna give it to you. I said, oh, is that right? So, you know, that's how boxing works.
In speaking to regulators across the country Wednesday, they say New York Commission head Matthew Daglio is in a tough bind trying to resolve the human error that saw Willis start and then stop his 8 count of Davis after receiving multiple punches from Roach, which prompted Davis to take a knee and then walk to his corner where co-trainer Calvin Ford was there to meet him and wipe his face with a towel. Davis later explained he felt the sting of a hair chemical in his eye and was merely seeking relief. While some feel Dallaglio should deduct a point from Davis for any of his transgressions and make Roach the new World Boxing Association lightweight champion after fighting to Saturday night's majority draw. Others say that's not fair to Davis, a knockout puncher who might have moved into a more desperate offensive mindset in the final 3 rounds had he known he had been docked with a knockdown.
In round number 9, Gervonta Davis takes a knee, landed a right hand and 2 jabs afterward. What were you thinking when this happened? Were you surprised as everybody else? What was on your mind?
Man, I was surprised, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I thought it was a 10.
The panel, including former California referee Jack Rice, trainer Stephen Bradman Edwards, Raphael, and Pro Box TV regulars Chris Algieri and Paulie Malignaggi, was in unison that Roach's bent knee met the definition of a knockdown. Pro Box TV founder Gary Jonas, who advises Roach, filed an official appeal letter to the New York Commission asking that it rule Roach the winner based on the multiple opportunities Willis had to deduct a point from Davis. The knockdown, turning his back to Roach and walking to his corner, and Ford walking up the steps to treat him mid-round. Edwards gave a telling point: people make mistakes, but this always happens to favor the sign. Edwards said Steve Willis has a great career. This moment just shocked him.
Started counting. While I'm looking at him, I'm like, the rest started counting. But I see him get up and go to the corner. So now I'm just like, all right, now I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
Did you think he was stopping the fight?
Referee Rice tried to explain that officials have leeway as the bout's sole arbiter to exercise discretion over how the fight proceeds. You cannot call your own timeout, Malignaggi replied. Rafael also reported there was a chance to review the replay of the knockdown, but it didn't happen, which inspired Algeria and Malignaggi to decide there's only one effective way to respond: stage an immediate rematch right back at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
I didn't think he was stopping the fight, but then again, like when I look at him in the corner, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. I don't know now. I just don't know what's going on, besides the fact that
the New York State Athletic Commission told multiple outlets it's still studying the matter, but the most unexplainable storyline of all that still demands a bit more attention turned its way is this: what the heck was up with Davis? Well, it was definitely a shock to see the 30-year-old native of Baltimore fight against such an overwhelming underdog after dominating the sport for so long. That's not what necessarily was most surprising. Roach looked like the bigger fighter after bulking up to lightweight and leaned upon the confidence and experience he drew from growing up in the same boxing circles as Davis to offer the most impressive performance of his career.
It's sad to say, you know, that's how boxing works. I'm not like totally upset. I figured with a superstar,
the biggest set of questions surrounded Davis's mindset and the repeated bizarre behavior he showed before, during, and after the fight, which has begged the question as to whether this was simply an off night for one of the sport's pound-for-pound best, or has Davis lost the competitive fire and killer mindset that made him such a wildly popular draw at the box office. Star boxes being late for media events is far from a new thing, especially for Davis, who was nearly 2 hours late for the 2023 kickoff press conference against Ryan Garcia in December. However, Davis took tardiness to a whole new level when he unapologetically arrived nearly 5 hours after the start of his first event with Roach in New York, and followed it up by being 90 minutes late to last Friday's. Wayne Davis was largely playful and loose during fight week, which is his norm, but his behavior during the fight turned alarming when he twice took his eyes off of Roach to argue with Willis during the first half, only to eat clean punches in return.
you won't get too much on paper. But shit, I damn sure thought I had it. Especially when they announced the score for him. I was like, oh, they gonna give me.
Prime Video cameras also got Davis yelling over the advice of trainer Calvin Ford in the corner at times between rounds by screaming, "Listen to me." And then there was the uncalled knockdown in round 9 after Roach connected on a series of jabs. Davis started to fiercely blink his left eye before turning his back to the action and taking a knee. Davis quickly rose up and ran to his corner, where Ford used the towel to wipe his eyes, which could have been grounds for disqualification under the rules. Willis briefly began counting the required 8 count, but stopped at 3 and warned Davis before letting the action continue.
Let the decision win. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, shit, here it goes. But as soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with.
Not only was Davis's explanation of what happened during the post-fight interview peculiar, but his demeanor was clearly less than serious, given he came so close to losing his title and unbeaten record as the crowd booed him, after which screamed of either embarrassment or disinterest. "I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she put grease in my hair so it was like coming into my face when I was sweating, and it burned my eyes," Davis said. "Damn, why are you all booing like I'm saying these are real facts? Come on, man. Look at my hair. I just got mine done, but it's all cool, man. You know how they get, they love you, and then they hate you. Turn around, and they will love you again." Davis, who owns a mandatory rematch clause in his contract and shared his interest in one Monday on social media, looked a bit more humble while explaining his performance at the post-fight press conference, which only exposed a lack of situational awareness regarding the rules. "Nobody likes a draw from a guy who gets knockouts and things like that, but it's cool," Davis said. "I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have done more. I was lost and lost track of the rounds. That's why we need ring girls. I didn't know what round it was. Truth."
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get
caught while my eyes were burning. You can get knocked out like that, so I would rather take the knee, but I didn't really know that you could get qualified for getting mid-round corner assistance when Willis started counting. I was like, what the hell? But it's cool. During a chat with Colin McGann on IFL TV, the Golden Boy pointed to referee Steve Willis, who in the 9th round called an infringement by Gervonta, who, after receiving a blow from Roach around the eye, turned around and went down on one knee in an action that should have been penalized as a knockdown, which should have cost him a point, and with it, the judges should have given the round to Roach.
The decision, or I think the draw was meant to be. So I like the draw.
Do you like the draw? I think like the knee though. Was that a good call on the ref?
No, if you take the knee, man, we're not.
You know who the commissioner, the referee is. In fact, I was surprised that the referee allowed that to happen because that referee is a professional referee and has experience, said the 52-year-old former boxer Steve Willis, who has worked some fights for Golden Boy Promotion. So De La Hoya recognized his surprise at his performance, but what shocked him was the performance of Lamont Roach, who he said put Gervonta Davis in trouble, whom he described as a fantastic fighter. I just feel that Roach did extremely well against Gervonta Davis. I think Lamont Roach was on his game, and it was a great fight, said Oscar De La Hoya.
If you take a knee in the 90s or in 2000, you're taking a point off. That's the bottom line. You're taking a point off. I don't know what happened with the referee. Maybe he was a little starstruck. Maybe he was a little...
Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has shared his thoughts on the New York State Athletic Commission study of the controversial fight between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach. Hearn doesn't think the NYSAC will overturn the result of the fight, which ended in a majority draw, but expects a rematch to take place. Davis and Roach fought to a draw at Barclays Center last Saturday, but a 9th-round incident in which Davis took a voluntary knee without a knockdown being called has led to an official review by the commission, as reported by Dan Rafael of Fight Freaks Unite. Roach's lawyer asked for the result to be changed to a win for his fighter, either by decision, knockout, or disqualification. Hearn recognized the controversy, but does not expect the New York State Athletic Commission to change the result, as he told Fight Hype on Tuesday. No, I don't think they do, Hearn said. Can the state call for an instant rematch? I don't think they can. The commission is really up to the governing group. The World Boxing Association oversees the lightweight title, and while the commission can review the decision, it cannot mandate a rematch. Hearn, however, expects one to happen regardless.
Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner. I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation for me. Like, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight.
Everything I'm hearing is the rematch is going to happen anyway, Hearn confirmed. I think it's pretty much done. Hearn also weighed in on the 9th round controversy, saying that Davis's decision to take a knee should have been ruled a knockdown. If you take a knee in a fight and touchdown while punches are being thrown, it has to be a fall. Hearn said, I heard people saying he should be disqualified. He went back to his spot. I don't buy that. I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre case.
It's a serious fight. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, like, even the day before, I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night. And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little...
The New York State Athletic Commission's review remains ongoing, with no word on the final verdict released yet by the commission. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis's status as arguably one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world is now in question, although one of the 3 judges felt Davis did enough to win, 2 did not, leading to the majority draw round. 9 was the difference, as it was when a bizarre and defining moment of the fight happened during the round, after taking several stinging blows from the 29-year-old Roach, a native of Washington, D.C. Davis suddenly and briefly dropped to one knee. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay linked with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality content like this. Until next time, peace out.